The attribute system in Fallout games called S.P.E.C.I.A.L helps you understand, organize, and optimize the character that you're building to find the most fulfilling playstyle. I was obsessed with S.P.E.C.I.A.L because I loved thinking about the different ways you could play the game so I could figure out which one would be the most fulfilling to me. I loved learning about how these 7 core attributes affected everything else, from your perks, skills, and even unique dialogue options that changed the course of quests you were doing. By adjusting the ratio of points distributed between strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck, you would unlock different options, like being a specialist in melee weapons, or being a scientist hacking computers and using energy weapons. There were so many ways you could play, and you had to test them all out to see which playstyle you really resonated with. This was the first game that I ever clocked over 400 plus hours in, and even more time outside of the game, learning about its lore and different ways to optimize my character builds. The characters that I built in each Fallout game became specialists, masters at their chosen field of expertise because of my guidance. But as I created more of these characters carefully and intentionally choosing which special stats to focus on for each of them in order to improve their build, I slowly realized that I never thought about improving myself in the same manner. And how would I? I looked for it, but no one had made an attribute system that would help you understand, organize, and optimize every area of your life to be able to improve it with the same enthusiasm that we had for our game characters. After quitting my career as a professional chef from burnout, I found myself retreating into video games for comfort. But I quickly got sick of myself because I knew I was spending time leveling up a game character when I could be leveling up my own stats. Instead of beating myself up about it, I realized that in games like Fallout, where there is an attribute system, I was so productive in understanding every aspect of it and using it to create a better character. I honestly thought if I had a system like this for my real life, then I would be absolutely unstoppable, just like the characters I created. So I literally made it my mission to learn about every single area of life to be able to convert S.P.E.C.I.A.L into a real life system. After 5 years of reading hundreds of books, thousands of hours of podcasts, and 10 more years of my own life experience, I finished creating the framework about a year ago, and have used it to gamify my self-improvement journey. When I finally figured it out for myself and got clarity and focus in my own life, explaining the frameworks to my friends who have had struggles with understanding the interplay between the different areas of life also helped them achieve laser focus and success in the attributes relevant to them. Since then, Derek, a software engineer at Air New Zealand, focused on his LifeForce and attachment and is now in a stable relationship after a long time of being single. Joseph, a software developer focusing on his creativity and contribution, in just 1 year is about to release his own app, having the idea stagnant in his head for the last 5 years. And Lachlan, an extremely talented artist and gamer who drew the concept of my logo, is honing his talents of creativity while building his strength, and is able to do 2 to 4 hours of deep work sessions on his art and building towards a more muscular physique. I also used the framework to apply the knowledge I got from my favorite creators, and it helped me gain a deep understanding of how each of our life attributes affects each other. Now my new mission is to build it into the best life management app specifically made for gamers, built on the foundation of what I call the OctaCore framework. The 8 core areas of life we need to understand and manage to create a fulfilling life. But it almost never happened because I made a crucial mistake that you'll probably make if I don't tell you. Before looking at creating the OctaCore attribute system, I researched life gamification because surely someone would have taken a step in the right direction, but I was completely wrong. The people encouraging you to turn your life into a game took the definition of life gamification way too seriously, and it's the reason why it ended up as a cringe corner of the internet instead of really taking off like it should have. The reason? They made the mistake of thinking that you have to take a game element and transfer it to real life 1-to-1 for it to count as life gamification. They would spend hundreds of hours thinking about complicated XP leveling systems on spreadsheets instead of doing anything, or try to make equivalents for things like HP, mana, and stamina, spending more time cringifying their life instead of gamifying it. It would be like me wasting my time trying to figure out how to increase and control all of the variables in my luck stat in real life instead of understanding life as its own game and recreating the attributes based on what we're trying to accomplish. I gave up trying to learn from these people and thought about the core principles of the attribute system. In the Fallout games, they are there to help you build a specialized character that fits the playstyle that is most fulfilling to you. I realized that we have a similar but different goal in life. On the outside, everyone convinces themselves that they want happiness, success, possessions, or connections. But I found the bedrock that holds all of those is fulfillment. The peace of mind that all of those things give you, created from the base elements of flow, growth, novelty, service, and connection. This meant that the attribute system I needed to create was not just supposed to help with combat or how to hack computers or pick locks. It needed to help me understand what fulfillment meant in each area of my life. It needed to teach me how I would feel if I focused on certain areas of life and ignore others. And by using it, it would help me design my own life to be fulfilling, so I wouldn't feel the need to escape it. A pet peeve of mine from videos that talk about ideas like this is that they're all smoke and no substance. There are hundreds of videos with millions of views on treating your life like a game that will fill you up with empty inspiration because the creators of these only care about making you feel like it will help you to get them views instead of giving you practical tools that you would actually use to better your life. This is why I made Life Game Design. One app to manage your whole life seamlessly integrated with the OctaCore system. I'll teach you about each attribute, showing you how I practically use this framework to understand, organize, and optimize every area of my life. The OctaCore attributes are split into two even categories, essential and elevating. The essential attributes represent the core four of self-development, which we know are health, mental and physical, wealth from work, and relationships. The elevating attributes represent the areas of life that are given a backseat in normal productivity systems, but are key areas of life we need to manage: persistence, experience, creativity, and intelligence. Instead of remembering the words themselves like my friends, you're more likely to remember the color coding first, inspired by Marvel's Infinity Stones. So this app is free for you guys to download because it's still in its alpha stages. It's not completely done, but when it releases, it will be a paid product. But if you join the alpha testing team, you get to try it out in the experimental version absolutely for free, even as the updates come out, until it gets released as a paid product. But if you help me through the stages of making this the best life management app in the world, then I'm going to give it to you guys for free. There are certain stages and certain things you have to complete in order to get a tier list of discounts in order to get the 100% discount off. So that's the plan for this. So over here is the homepage of the app, and it houses my areas, achievements, projects, tasks, and notes. Every project that is completed becomes an achievement, and it creates a board like this of everything that you've done in your life. But for this view, it's just showing me what I've done recently. And this is also for every single area of your life. So I record the shows I watch, I record the progress that I'm doing on this app, my meal prep things, going for a surf, hanging out with friends, and all that kind of stuff. And the reason why I take the time to do that is because the OctaCore system helps you understand what you find fulfilling in life. And this is the true power of it over here. Now I can see where my attention is going in all of these different areas of life. And if I scroll down, I can see where I'm lacking things and where I have a great degree of focus in things. So you can see creativity for me, which is my work on this app, is quite a lot, as it should be. You can also have a really cool gallery view of all the things you've done, and yeah, just see all of your achievements in one place. But really, this is a way for you to show yourself what you're doing in each of these areas of life and how it's impacting how you feel about your life. Based on looking at this, I can see whether I'm proud of these things that I've logged or if I don't feel the best about them. And if I don't feel the best about them, I'm going to work to make sure that I do feel proud about what I'm doing in terms of all of these different areas of life. And the thing is, if you've ever felt like you're behind the other people in your life, it's probably because you don't have a system to show yourself all the progress that you've made. So I just want to show you that real quick before we dive into the individual areas of OctaCore. So let's do that, starting with strength. So like I said, strength is everything to do with our physical health. For me, it's like training, bodybuilding, taking care of my nutrition, all that kind of good stuff. I even take logs on things like my Invisalign, doctor, and dentist kind of stuff. And so before I get ahead of myself, this is the strength page. And each of the pages are identical in how they're laid out. Over here, you have an overarching menu, and you have areas, achievements, projects, tasks, and notes. Now, areas are really cool because they contain projects, tasks, and notes, and obviously achievements within them. So it's really good for you if you want to separate out your knowledge between each of these different areas of life. And just to be clear with the distinction between attributes and areas, the attribute is the thing like strength that houses multiple different areas like my weightlifting programs, physique progress, health, etc. I zoomed in a bit so you can see this, but these are the recent achievements that I've made within strength itself. But more importantly, you have a tier list over here. The tier list applies to each of the different areas of life. Basically, like I said, this is a framework for us to find fulfillment in all of these different areas of life. And then it's up to us to rank our achievements up into silver, gold, and diamond. So if I open bronze first, I'll get to see like these are the baseline achievements that I've done. As we go up the tier list, it's more fulfilling things. Like starting a new training split, I was really looking forward to this. As we go into gold, more fulfilling things. I did my first 4-hour hike just a while ago in January, and my first 2-minute ice cold plunge in a waterfall coming straight off a iced mountain cap. And then we get to the diamond tier, which are the most fulfilling achievements that you've ever made. And literally just going through this ranking system is the core of how you're going to figure out what is fulfilling to you. Because everything in your diamond achievements are naturally going to be things that really fulfilled you. It will tell you so much about yourself, what you like, and what you want to achieve and strive for more of. So this is it for me, finishing my Invisalign, which is probably one of the best investments I ever made in my life. I used to have very slightly crooked teeth, fixed it with Invisalign. Was so happy about it. I also fixed my mouth breathing over here, which was really impairing my health, but I had no idea about it. And so learning about it, fixing it was such a massive impact on my health, sleep, and so many other things. I don't want to go too deep into it because we got 7 other attributes to go over, but basically all of those achievements are derived from projects. I have one coming up here. I have to do a checkup for that Invisalign thing. So opening up this project, I can see that there are sub-projects, tasks, and notes. Sub-projects allow me to hit key milestones that will bring me more forward to completing the project if I need to do that. And then tasks help me break it down further. These are like the steps in a quest that you would have. And then notes are all the things that you need to collect on the information about how to complete this. And I get to see a view of all of the active tasks that I have for strength, which I don't have because I've already been to the gym. I've already done all of my strength tasks for today. But this is really cool with notes. After I've made all of the notes within my projects or even areas, I can see them all over here, and they're all the notes that I have to do with strength. So that's how you manage your physical health in life game design. Let's go over to persistence. Persistence is a life bucket that a lot of people misunderstand. Persistence is almost everything to do with like life admin and environment design. Think about all the tasks that you shove into this horrible folder called personal, that you have your car maintenance, house maintenance, things like cleaning your room, all that kind of stuff. But the problem with that folder called personal is it also holds things that you do for fun. So think of persistence as the persistent maintenance of your life design and your environment. So in areas, you can see everything I have to do with my PC, meal prep and recipes, routines like my morning routine, night routine, everything to do with my car maintenance, places that are around my area, and stuff to do with household maintenance. So those are the areas. The achievements are things that I have to do on a week-to-week basis. So these are all the foods that I've made for my meal prep. I've also had to do my vehicle rego renewal. I also have helping my dad with his workshop setup and things like mowing the lawn. And for a lot of people, I can understand they may think, why would you even put these things as achievements in your board? And the thing is, if you don't understand how these things affect all the different areas of your life, you won't understand how much of an impact doing things like meal prep will have for you, having things like a clean room, all of those kind of things. If you don't log it, you don't know the benefit or the detriment that it has. So projects and notes within persistence will be pretty obvious. It'll be everything to do with these achievements. So I'll knock over those and go into notes. So I have recipes in here. I've got the window measurements for my room because I installed curtains in them, things like my morning routine, all that kind of stuff is where I keep these notes. So that is persistence, and the Infinity Stone relation is to the Space Stone because it's about controlling the space around you. So let's go into experience, and this is something that people either only do on social media and has never been in a productivity app, but I'm here to change that because we actually need to appreciate this crucial part of our life. So basically, experience is anything you do for leisure or to have fun. These are things like travel, hanging out with outer circle friends. That's a very important point that I'll be touching on a bit later, but also things like the games you play and the anime you watch or the shows you watch and things like that. If you're like me 5 years ago, I used to just binge games or shows and anime, and I just binged them without thinking if they were actually fulfilling to me. I was just watching something to pass the time, to escape the fact that I didn't build a fulfilling life for myself. And you might find yourself in the same situation. And if you're in that situation, you need to really be more intentional with what you're consuming. I'm going to bet that you're not just going to cold turkey quit all of these things. It would be so much better for you to actually be like, you know what? All the things that I'm watching haven't actually made me feel anything. They don't actually inspire me. They don't actually give me energy or anything like that. And that's why you would put them in the system. So you're going to see if almost all of your achievements fall in the bronze tier and they don't actually end up going up into the higher tiers, that means that you're not really doing things that are fulfilling to you in terms of entertainment, and it's probably draining your energy more than giving you energy or inspiration. So apart from that practical aspect, it's just really cool to see all of your most impactful achievements within experience. So for me, it's been rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender, getting back into surfing, going hiking up the side of a mountain, doing a skydive last year, and starting the Habit Tracking Kings group with my friends. All these things show me the absolute highlights of everything that I've ever had in my life. So using your projects over here, you can set up all the things that you would want to watch. Over here, I've got Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but I'm also planning a trip to Japan with my boys. So that's something that I'm planning out all in here. Within your notes for experience, you can save videos that you found on YouTube, or things like the reading order for the Last Airbender comics, or find activities to do. So that's a wrap up for experience, and it's linked to the time stone, so it's about making the most of the limited time we have and enjoying it as much as possible. The next one is creativity, and this is really broad. So these are things like art, music, anything you do to creatively express yourself. And for me, it's about building the app of Life Game Design. So for areas over here, I have my channel Life Game Design that I manage everything in. I manage all the concepts, the video creation, and all that kind of stuff. And a side project of mine is Modern Mythology, which I would like to get into when I have more time, but I'm currently making the app. But basically, it's stories about self-development through the characters in modern mythologies, like games, TV shows, movies, and anime. The achievements you log here is anything that you do in the progression of those creative outlets, whether it's spending time doing those things or whether it's making progress within the build or creation of those things. So for me within Life Game Design, it's been making videos on this, creating the app itself, all my progress, all the deep work sessions that I've had to do to get the progress done, meetings I've had with people to help me get further in the production of this, and all that kind of good stuff. And again, the tier list over here will show me the most fulfilling things that I've ever done in creating things. And the podcast series is one of my most favorite things that I've done in regards to this channel. This podcast series is where I help my friends review their previous year and all of the achievements that they made using the OctaCore framework. So like I showed you before with this board over here, I create the same things for my friends by asking them what they've achieved in every area of their life. And then we just have a podcast discussing those things and why they find those things so fulfilling. And basically it's helped them understand the interconnection between doing one thing and how it flows onto another. Like for me, for example, something really simple is how I do meal prep, and it lets me do more creation into building more things on the app. It helps me understand something as funny as this anime making me laugh so hard and giving me so much energy that I love this kind of genre. And even the fact that when I go for the surfs in the morning, I feel more energized and I have a lot more focus during my day to be able to create, to be able to learn and things like that. So getting back to the creativity page, this is one thing I haven't actually showed you yet, and this is really cool. You can see a year breakdown of every achievement that you've made for creativity. So over here, I can see a breakdown of all the things that I've done for each year in a chronological order. So I'll show you my projects just so you guys get a view of what I'm working on at the moment. I'm even using it to create this video right now. And notes for creativity is really cool because I do my scripts in here, but I also find notes from other videos and save them here. There's so many things that you can save and frameworks that you can save, or even saving your artwork as a note in here, or putting it as an achievement, or honestly, whatever you create, the ideas that you have of things you want to create, you can put them all on your notes, and you can use these notes to serve your projects and make achievements for yourself. So that is creativity, and it's linked to the reality stone because it's about expressing your inner reality into the real world. And the reality stone is actually shared with another area, which is contribution. Contribution is everything to do with your professional work, but also any community service that you do as well. So over here in areas, I have the careers that I've had, aviation security. I'm currently looking for part-time work, but also my chefing career that I had. And in achievements, you can basically log any achievements that you've had within your professional career. And for your projects, if your company doesn't have its own project manager, you can use this to keep track of all the projects you have going on at work. For me at the moment, I'm using this to help me find a part-time job, and the tasks are the things that are going to break down the steps of this really big project. And notes over here, you can use it to log everything you've got to do with work. And so yeah, that's a really brief summary of contribution. My one's pretty empty at the moment because I've quit my job to pursue this full time. And the reason why I'm not logging life game design itself as a contribution is because contribution is what really pays for your living costs. And for me at the moment, life game design doesn't have that potential to do that at the moment. And that's the whole nuance of turning a creativity into contribution. I go far more deeper with this in the podcast episodes to talk about all the nuance between all these different areas of life. But hopefully by now you'll start to see how these feed into each other. Let's go into the next one. I love this. This is intelligence. Intelligence is everything to do with learning, finance, and planning. So for the areas of intelligence for me, I have things to do with business, AI research, marketing, Notion, which is the software that I've built this app in, DaVinci Resolve, which is my video editing software, and the King's Mastermind, which is a place for me and my friends to share all of the knowledge we have in all of these different areas of life in one place so we can help each other learn better. For achievements, it's things like me recently finding a budgeting app, getting a library card, doing deep work or focus sessions, reading books and listening to podcasts, all that kind of good stuff. Like I said, anything to do with learning, finance, and planning. And then we can see a tier list of the achievements that you've had within learning, finance, and planning. And basically for me, it's all of the what I call cornerstone books. The cornerstone books are the core of what have taught me about all of these different areas of life. These are books like Essentialism by Greg McKeown, Attached by Amir Levine. You're really going to understand that when we go into the next OctaCore attribute. $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi, teaching you about contribution, teaching you about building a business. All of these amazing books and even more of them that I don't really have the time to list out in this video. But yeah, whenever you listen to podcasts that really impact you on YouTube, you want to log them here so you can remember them as an achievement, but you can also put the links of them in notes. So over here in my intelligence notes, I have all of these frameworks and videos that I've watched to do with learning, all these websites that are really good tools for me to use, so many different things that need to be isolated from all the other notes that I have in my life. So that's intelligence, and it's very appropriately related to the Mind Stone. And like I mentioned a while ago, the name attachment for this attribute is inspired by the book Attached by Amir Levine, which teaches you about the concept of attachment styles. And if you study that book, you will understand so many things about the relationships that you have. To try to be brief as possible, everyone has certain attachment styles that will dictate how they do things like conflict resolution, or how they give and receive things like love and affection and attention and all those kind of things. Understanding that concept will help you better your relationship with other people and understand how other people treat you as well. But the practical use case for this, there's not really much to do with areas unless you want to log the close relationships that you have. And I almost forgot to mention the important part about the separation between outer circle friends and inner circle friends. This is why there is a separation between the activities that you do with outer circle friends in experience and the things that you do with inner circle friends in attachment, because of how those two different relationships will affect your fulfillment. Basically, hanging out with outer circle friends is really fun and all, but it's nothing in comparison to really getting in touch with your inner circle friends, your true friends that you can share the really high highs and the really low lows with. There's a reason why you can't share those same things with your outer circle friends and experience, and this is why I've created that separation, for you to understand how that works, for you to understand when you log it in your achievements, how you feel about, hanging out with your outer circle friends versus hanging out with your inner circle friends. So this is what it looks like for me. My achievements are basically everything that I've done for my close relationships, having catch-up calls with my friends, going to waterfalls with my inner circle friends. I even do things like logging gifts that I've received from my closest friends. So this hat in particular is a gift that I received from my closest friend Derek. So I don't want you guys to get too stuck up on the word projects, because it's more about projects and memories. So I've got things like my dad's birthday coming up, Mother's Day, and planning out dinners with my family, all done in projects over here. Just really so I can see the date that it's coming, organize presents, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's attachment, which is connected to the soul stone. The last attribute we have here is LifeForce, and it's connected to our physical health. So LifeForce is our mental health, but also our spirituality. And I think the coolest thing that we've discovered in science in the last decade is that physical health and mental health have a dualistic relation to each other, a very close relation to each other, which is why the symbol that I've made for LifeForce is almost identical to the one that we used for strength. So within areas of LifeForce, I have journaling, reflections that I do for my weekly reflections. I even have a tattoo plan because there's a lot of deep meaning behind the tattoos that I eventually want to get. And this one over here is really cool. This is the framework of understanding your mental health as a parent-child relationship to yourself. To summarize this really quickly, because it goes so deep, just like the OctaCore framework does, basically, you have the subconscious mind of a child and the conscious will of a parent. Your conscious will determines your environment, and your environment determines your behavior. So, I said all of these words. Basically, it means that everything that is going good or bad with your mental health can be viewed from the frame of a parent-child relationship. Your conscious will is your parent, and the subconscious acts that you take are like the child. Basically, a parent can teach a child anything, and the child will always look to the parent to see how to act. So any habits that you currently have, whether they're good or bad for you, are a result of what you have been teaching yourself. To really encapsulate it, it's the whole idea of discipline in the first place. Discipline is literally using your conscious mind as a parent to control the subconscious mind like a child. Doing the hard thing even when you don't feel like it. Anyways, there's going to be so many more videos on that concept. Give me a comment down below if you'd love to see it sooner rather than later, but I've really got to focus on building this app at the moment. But trust me, that framework is going to be built into the teachings that I give you guys within here. So within LifeForce achievements, it's doing things like reflections. It's just things like being happy to go to the gym, which is one for me. I did a moonlight waterfront walk before bed. Basically anything that relaxes you, anything that gives you peace of mind, or even doing things like overcoming adversity. Within my tier list, I've done a set of the Diary of a CEO conversation cards. Basically, these are really deep journaling questions that you do for yourself. I've confronted some emotional shrapnel, which is really diving deep into something that happened in my past that I had to face. All these kind of deep realizations that you have, really any progress that you make in building the relationship that you have with yourself. So that's the tour of how all of these different pages work in Life Game Design, but I want to show you something a little bit extra that will teach you how you're actually going to practically use Life Game Design to design a fulfilling life for yourself. I want to show you guys what I'm working on right at the moment, and it's the concept of mini games. Because while I showed you how I practically organize all these things, it's kind of hard to understand how you practically go through the cycle of designing a fulfilling life through the process of logging all these things. And so I've made that process really seamless by using a concept of mini games. Basically, this is the cycle of designing a fulfilling life for yourself. Basically, we make a vision board, which is in Vision. We take all of the ideas out of our head of all the things that we would possibly want to do in our lives. And then that's like a projected future of what we could do. Maybe that's 5, 10, even 2 years into the future. But then we kind of need to ground ourselves. Then we go into the design phase over here. The design phase is about designing the here and now. Everything we're going to do in a period of a year or less. So within design, I give you guys tools to design your day, your week, your month, and your year. And then you go on to focusing and achieving. It's over here. I give you a room to help you focus and do Pomodoro study sessions or work sessions or whatever. But I also help you figure out what I call a focus intention, which attribute you're going to focus on. This also is a mini course that will teach you really in depth about all of the different attributes of OctaCore. It has all of these different insights that will teach you far deeper into things that I just can't touch on in this video. The next stage after we focus and achieve is reflecting and realigning. Basically, we follow this cycle through, and that's how we design a fulfilling life. We have to design it, we have to quote unquote play it, and then we have to reflect on it. And in the reflection, I show you all of those achievements that we've seen, and I help you journal and figure out who you are based on these achievements. It will tell you so much about yourself, and it will really help you figure out why you find those things fulfilling. And if you do find those things fulfilling, you'll work so much harder to get more of them in real life. I would really love it if you guys join me on this journey of me trying to make the best life management app for gamers. So smash that subscribe button, like the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.